Hello B, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. First off, I just want to say thank you for 50 subs. Hit 50 subs like yesterday or something, and honestly never expected to get much subscribers at all, but 50 is pretty good, so appreciate that. Today we're going to be doing a tier list of all the mage skills in the game, so just as a 50 subscriber special, I guess. I don't know. So I got them in alphabetical order here. So yeah. Also, I just want to say I've been posting lately, but a couple of them have got copyright strikes and stuff. So if you wanna watch them, just go to my channel. It might not be popping up in your feed because yeah, they're copyrighted. So just to let you know, I have been posting, so if you want to, go check them out on my channel. If not, enjoy this video of the tier list. First one, we got Cloak of Fire. Cloak of Fire is a fire magic skill, scales with focus and fire magic, obviously. It's not really too good. PvE, I guess it could be alright if you pulled a bunch of mobs and had a high level. I think for this, I'm going to put it in the C section. Next one, we're going to do Energy Shield. Energy Shield is a pretty good mage skill all around, PvE and PvP. It protects damage from the user. It also PvP and PvE, while you have Energy Shield on, when you are casting skills, you can't be interrupted. So yeah, so for that matter, I think that I'm gonna chuck this in the A section. I feel like a lot of mages use it, fire mages, ice mages. I feel like a lot of mages use it. PvE, PvP, it's broken. In PvP, it gets your lure off without being interrupted, or it gets your freeze off without being interrupted. So it's a good skill. I'm gonna put it in A. Next one is Energy Well. I'm gonna chuck this right down in D. It's a pretty useless skill. It just gives you extra energy. The next one, we got the Energy Boost. I see some mages use this end game. It's pretty handy. It's a bit of it gives you a energy regen. But I've never really personally used Energy Boost. I mean, it is ice magic skill, so it is good for ice mages. Fire mages, it can be alright, I guess, but I've always just used sigils or elixirs, or I've never really used it, but I do think it can be useful for mages. I'm gonna chuck it on C tier. Alright, next skill we're gonna do is Fire Attunement. Now, this one buffs Firebolt and Firestorm damage at the same time. I'm gonna chuck it in A tier straight away. It is so useful. Any fire mage has to be running this skill to be good. It's free damage. It adds free damage to two skills. Two of the best skills in the game, in my opinion. It is crazy. It lasts like 2 or 3 minutes as well, and it's cooldown time is 90 seconds. So I think it lasts 3 minutes. So yeah, it's a really good skill. Not much to say about it. Fire mage, for ice mages it's not worth it, but fire mages, really good skill. That's all I have to say about it. Next one is Firebolt, and can I just say, this is going straight in the S tier. This shit is like a damage. This is like if any of the skills in the game was like a machine gun, it would be Firebolt. A 40% cooldown on Firebolt, you're literally casting Firebolt every 3 seconds, which is fucking insane. And I've seen fire mages hit 15k damage, not crits, 15k damage Firebolt. So that every 3 seconds, in 10 seconds, they're doing 45,000 damage with no fire resistance on the mob. That is how good this skill is. It is crazy good. It's crazy. It's the quickest cooldown like damage skill in the game, I think. I'm pretty sure by like a slight amount, like not too much. I think Pummel is pretty close, but Firebolt is just quicker cooldown. And 40% cooldown, it's just crazy. It is one of the best skills in the game, 100%. So yeah, S tier, definitely deserves to be an S tier. Next skill is Freeze. Freeze is, it's not really useful in PvE anymore. The only really time it has been useful in PvE that I believe was Dino for the nukes. There used to be a strategy where you could just get 2 mages casting freeze on the nukes and they would never blow up because they would always be frozen. I think that got removed, it got patched. Now they blow up if they're frozen still. PvP, it's a good skill. It lets you get a lure off and 1 damage hit off, so it's pretty good. I'm gonna chuck it in B tier. I think it's more useful than these two, just for the fact of PvP. And it's just below them because I feel like any shield is any better to use than PvP in this. You don't need too much, you don't need to max it to get the full use of it in points wise. So I reckon it sits in the middle of B. Next one, we're going to hop into Freeze. Next skill is Freeze. Freeze is an Ice Mage skill, and I feel like as an Ice Mage it's more useful than Incinerate. For leveling you would use Freeze, where a Fire Mage you probably wouldn't use Incinerate. This also does impact damage plus damage per tick, and I see a lot more Ice Mages using this than Fire Mages using Incinerate. I'm going to chuck this in B tier as well. It does decent damage, and the fact that Ice Shard and Ice Blast under level 180 when you can't really get cooldown items. Freeze is handy for an Ice Mage when you're leveling. It just adds a bit more damage instead of waiting for your skills to cool down. Next skill is Firestorm. I'm going to chuck this in A tier as well. I don't think Firestorm is good enough to be an S tier with Firebolt, but Firestorm, it does do area damage. It does do a bit more damage than Firebolt. It's a longer cooldown, but it does area damage and a little bit more damage. So like when you're farming as a mage, Firestorm is good to use for that reason, just because it's area damage. You can just bunch up some mobs, put on an energy shield so you don't get interrupted, and just cast Firestorm. It's a high damage skill. It's pretty good. Yeah, not much to say about it. It's a pretty good skill. I reckon it's A tier. Next one is Ice Attunement. I'm gonna also put that in A tier. It's literally just the ice version of the Fire Attunement. It buffs damage of Ice Shards and Ice Blast. It lasts 3 minutes. So it's pretty much, yeah, just the exact same as Fire Attunement but for ice. So I think even though I don't think like Ice Mages aren't as good as Fire Mages, I think it still deserves to be in the A tier just because it is the duplicate version just for the different ability. Ice Magic over Fire Magic. So Ice Blast, this is gonna be in, like, I'm gonna put it in B tier. It does the same thing as Firestorm. It does area damage. It does a bit more damage than Ice Shards. The reason I put it in B tier instead of A tier is because it has like a 20-second cooldown. Ice Blast is just crazy cooldown time. It is just, I feel like it's a little bit too long. The reason Fire Mages out DPS Ice Mages is just because of the DPS. Fire Mages can cast a lot more skills in a lot less time, ice mages, even though they do a bit more damage, it just doesn't outweigh the recast times on them. It takes so long to cast Ice Blast again. If it misses, it's just a slap in the face. So that's why it's in B tier, not A tier. Next skill is Incinerate. Like, the only time I see people using Incinerate is at endgame bosses when they have like a lot of their other skills maxed out and they just have extra points, they have swaps. So I'm gonna chuck this in C tier. So yeah, that's Incinerate. Ice Shards. Now this is going in A tier. This has to go in A tier. It's not in S tier, but the reason for that is it does a bit more, and its cooldown time is less than Ice Blast, but it still just doesn't come anywhere near to outweighing Firebolt. Even a max level Ice Mage compared to a max level Fire Mage with 40% CDs on these and Ice Shards just doesn't compare to Firebolt, but it still is really good for an Ice Mage to have Ice Shards, and it is the main skill for an Ice Mage, so it is really good, but just not as good as Firebolt. Firebolt is just cracked. So I'll put it in A tier. I think it's just short of S tier. Single damage, higher damage, but just doesn't outdo Firebolt in the end. Alright, so next we have all the lures. Now I'm gonna chuck, I'm not gonna do, because these are all kind of one thing, I'm not gonna do these separately. I'm just gonna kind of pick and choose, but I think I'm gonna put Lure of Giants and Assassins in C tier just because I don't see much mages use them. Lure of Assassins, Lure of Fire, and Lure of Ice I'm gonna chuck in A tier just because I feel like they're the three main ones, and Lure Magic I'm gonna put in B. That's just really good for Dino. Druids are the biggest DPS on Dino, and Dino's a hard boss to kill. I feel like you need a good Lure of Magic. Lure of Fire and Lure of Ice is just purely for the mage, not for a Lure Mage, just a mage. You need them, they're essential pretty much when you're leveling. You don't need to max them all the time, but you need them to be doing a bit of extra DPS. And Lure of Assassin is just for rogues and rangers on prot, and rogues are just crazy DPS all the time. So yeah, that's why I did the lures like this. The warriors are good, but I feel like a rogue can out DPS warriors a bit easier. You need to be a bit more maxed out warrior to out DPS the rogue. I see a lot of mid rogues out killing decent warriors, so that is why I feel like these are, if you're not going to run them, you don't want to run these two, you want to run these four. So yeah, last skill is Sacrifice. Straight D tier. Straight garbage. Yeah, sacrifice health to give someone else energy, or yourself. It's just straight garbage. Nobody ever should use this. If you use this, you are a stupid mage. Nobody ever wants this. This is just useless. It needs to be changed, it needs to be reworked, it needs to be removed, I don't care. It needs to be replaced. It is terrible. Sacrifice doesn't even deserve to be on this list. It should be like under. I should have added one more tier list just so I could put it under. It is terrible, and nobody should ever touch it. The fact that Maud drops godly braces for it is just disgusting. And Hrung drops skulls for it, I think. Oh, I'm not sure about that, but Hrung drops gear for him as well, for sacrifice as well, and it's disgusting. Anyway, that is my tier list for mages. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Make sure to like and subscribe. Keep in mind that I have been uploading videos. It's just been getting copyrighted, so if you want to check me out, go check me out on my channel. If not, see you in the next video. Cheers, peace.